nutraceuticals, functional food, etc. Uh, the GRAIL is designed so that we have on one hand the innovators, the R&D scientists, etc., who are creating innovations, who can then connect to people who will actually bring them to market, and obviously also consumers who will benefit. So in that sense, this is a kind of a unique gathering, unique community. And what we try to do is bring to you cutting edge knowledge, but we bring to you cutting edge knowledge is not cutting edge technological language, but more in terms of language that all of us will understand, make it into a nice storytelling session rather than go deep into the technical details. You have the people who are involved in it who can be contacted for more insights, and insights we will have definitely. And we start off with this first session. It's interesting that we use the word tango. All of you who are aware of tango, the dance, know that it's predominantly a couples dance. There's a couples dance where it's more about two people who are in sync with each other and also equal partners. In most dances, you see that there is one leading partner and one partner who follows. But this is a situation where they're in sync. So, which means that whether it's a dominant partner or a less dominant partner, they're working together. Tango has a couple of ways of doing it that people say. There's an open embrace and a close embrace type of dance, and the close embrace is when the two dancers are very close together, and the open embrace is when they are a bit apart. Why am I telling you this? Why is this important, and why is it that we have chosen the term tango for this particular session and other sessions that will come, which are related to this theme? That's because when we talk about substances that provide flavor, that provide leptic property, that play with your senses, that excite your senses or alert you, they're actually playing a tango. They're coming together in various forms. Sometimes they're close together, sometimes they're far apart, not very far apart. But then the interaction between them is something that we have to work with, especially if there are complex formulations and complex molecules that we deal with. You might have a soft and very delicate flavor like vanilla that we're going to talk about today, or you might have earthy, strong set of flavors like you find in fenugreek. Both of them have to work well together. And I think that's the theme, and that is the purpose of today's discussion, where we will tell you stories about vanilla, fenugreek, and how they can come together and why it is important for us to understand this. I would also like to set a broader context, which is that this is not the specific examples we will use are vanilla and fenugreek, but where this applies to is in all areas where you have similar flavor interactions between ingredients, and where you're not only dealing with maybe one or two, but you're dealing with more. And let's not also forget that the flavor ingredients and the sensory ingredients have a very strong sensitivity in many cases to the other ingredients that are part of a food. So this is something that we will look at. I realize that the audience that we have is a collection of R&D people, supply chain people, students, etc., and also a collection of people who come from the food industry, the ingredient industry, as well as the pharma industry. So some of this may be already known to you, some of this will be new, but I think we always learn new things when we have experts like we have today coming together. So as we go into this entire functional foods nutraceutical revolution, which is what it is, with the industry projected to build to a very, very large level. We're talking of $100 billion plus. The question of how to make healthy foods palatable, because that's an important aspect of food getting accepted, is I'm very, very pleased to introduce our esteemed panel today. We have three very distinguished personalities in the panel. I'll start from at least on my screen, from the person who's at the top right, Dr. Yashwant Kumar. Dr. Yashwant Kumar is the founder and CEO of a company called Benefic Private Limited. Benefic works on ingredients, functional food ingredients, I think, and also on natural sweeteners and several compounds related to health. He's had a distinguished career in some of the big FMCGs, PepsiCo, Nestle, etc. So he brings a wealth of knowledge, especially in the use of vanilla and vanilla flavors in food products. And obviously, having worked in big food companies, he is also a very good. Uh, a great expert in formulation and how formulation science is important when it comes to making food products. Second, I'd like to introduce Dr. Sriraj Gopi, who comes to us from a company called Molecules Biolabs, and they are into more sophisticated molecules that can be used and technologies, I guess, for delivery of functional ingredients to in various milieu, whether it is foods, whether it is pharma, whether it is in other health benefits. So we're talking of whether liposome-based delivery, other types of delivery. That'll be very important to us when we look at how can we deliver and make ingredients bioavailable while at the same time trying to see if we can mask their off properties as far as organoleptics is concerned. So welcome also Dr. Sriraj. And finally, Dr. Anthony, who joins us all the way from Amsterdam. So thanks for that. He is the global head in Europe for Olam Ingredients. It's a big ingredient company, and he again brings a lot of experience from FMCGs, ITC, and others where he's done a lot of work on ingredients and formulation. So we are also looking forward to hearing him talk about vanilla and fenugreek specifically. So having got that out of the way, once again, welcome to the panelists, and let's start. So let's start with setting up a bit of a background. First of all, what the first question, of course, is what is the fuss up? So much fuss about vanilla and fenugreek. Vanilla, we know, is a very popular flavor. So, but there are other properties that we may not know of that are being exploited only recently. So, if I may, I will first ask one speaker to talk about it, and the other two will have a chance to pitch in. Yeah. So, may I request Dr. Yashwant Kumar to start off on talking about vanilla and tell us what exactly the market and technical aspects of this compound.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Balkumar, and it's a honor. And first of all, let me congratulate Amit ji and Nutrify Today. It's a fantastic platform. And because I've been in India after being in the UK for almost 20 years, I came back to India, and I do miss a lot of my good friends from science world. I become a marketing guy more than a scientist now. So it's an honor to be. I have a platform like this, and I think a webinar like this. I also want to set a context as well, because I love to be, even attending this because there are many things, whether it's Dr. Sriraj, Dr. Anthony, Dr. Balkumar, we all know. But we don't get the platforms to share them, because there's some big conferences where there are certain things we cannot tell. And I know, we have so much of little tips and tricks which could help people who are just coming to formulations or thinking about ideas to how to make nutraceuticals or bitter ingredients, which are very, very good in the health benefits, and make it more accessible. And not always ChatGPT gives you the right answers. What works in ChatGPT it doesn't actually work in the lab. I think a platform like this is an amazing idea. So first of all, congratulations to the Nutrify team for putting this across. So let me start with whenever we understand any ingredient as scientists or if a formulator, you always go back to the base. Where it came from. I'll give a little bit of a history of vanilla. If you can take just 1-2 minutes, and that kind of sets the reason why vanilla exists and why it is so popular. So vanilla, it was actually discovered in 15th century in Mexico, and this tribesmen found these wonderful flowers, and they didn't know what to do with it, and they smelled. They put it as a fragrance, medicine, and they offered it to the god because they felt it's beautiful, it smells nice. And then later on in the 15th century, they made it. They had cocoa. So this is the first ingredient. Vanilla was used. They took vanilla and put it into cocoa, because you can see now how all this comes together. They made a drink called chocolate. Maybe my Spanish is not that great, so it's called chocolate. And my good friend from America took it and made it into hot chocolate. So what we call it as hot chocolate was a Zocolati. First, it was done in 15th century. Then the biggest problem for the vanilla was the pollination. You cannot make like potato. You can't grow vanilla. That is, one of the biggest problem. So then it's amazing. There was a 12-year-old child who actually did the discovery. His name is Edward, and he took his hand and with the grass and he did the pollination. After hundreds of years, scientists failed. He, a little 12-year boy, did this in Africa, and even today, the how to cultivate vanilla, it is called Edmund's gesture. So you need Edmund's gesture. Even today, a 12-year-old boy thought a lot about vanilla to the world. So historically, it is actually used as a flavor or an enhancer. They didn't know what it is. Can I add a little bit of fun to it? If you don't mind, I'll bring some Bollywood to it. Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So treat vanilla like Shah Rukh Khan Kajol love story jodi. I've been watching them for childhood. Even today, it is it's safe. You want to take your wife to a movie, it's a Shah Rukh Khan Kajol jodi. It is going to be good. So it is a bit like that you can expect a certain aura around vanilla. And when you say sensory, please don't think sensory is only tongue. Sensory has 5 elements: what you see, what you hear, what you touch, what you taste. All this comes together as sensory. I think a lot of people don't pay attention. I was talking to one of the founder from ice cream industry recently, and it's one of the fastest growing ice cream brand. He is selling vanilla is actually overtaken chocolate as a flavor in ice cream in India. So that tells actually the consumers see vanilla as a safe flavor which is not going to overpower. It's more like Shah Rukh Khan Kajol jodi rather than Salman Khan movie. You don't know what to expect. So people don't like to be surprised. So when I was in PepsiCo, one of the marketing guy came and said, we'll do this Mexican chili flavor. Then I asked him, what is the number one flavor that we sell in chips? And he came with the data and said 75% of the chips we sell in Pepsi is salt. The other 10% is cheese. They said, don't waste my time, go away. Go and sell more of salt. So I think consumers like simple flavors. They don't want the complexity because the brain is very simple. And brain also resists anything which is new. Brain resists because of human psychology. So that's historically what vanilla is. But I'm going to tell you something I've learned, in my career that probably you will not find. We love cooking in India. Use vanilla as a starting point like a salt. Actually, it works like a salt, not like a flavor. So that is the main difference actually. When you put salt to the food, you see that some spiciness goes down, some bitterness goes down. It also enhances. So it kind of works more like a salt to start with. Then you can work on the other aspects. For example, you take fenugreek as a combination here. Fenugreek is very bitter. So if you take a pill of anything bitter, you also get this burping effect. You see that when you take it, you get the burping effect. So it's need not have to be only functional foods. Vanilla can also be used in reducing that burping bad effect. And I think from our experience of working in India so far, what we know is if it is not tasty enough to crave, it won't be taken long enough to work. Because compliance is a very big problem in India. Nobody takes it for 45 days, 90 days to get the clinical benefit. That's a sweet spot. So we don't get that. So I think the vanilla is a safe starting point because you start thinking like a salt. And then you build on. Then you ask a question, okay, what is my bitterness level, and how do I bring more creaminess? So we're going to bring creaminess. Maybe you can use some fat and other things, and there are a lot of options available. So if I can just summarize this, if you want to go for a very good movie, there is a Shah Rukh Khan jodi. Same thing, like if you want to do formulation, vanilla is actually one of your top 1 to 2 flavors that you should start with. Because generally the acceptance is very, very good. Number 2 is it doesn't overpower anything. And that's like, I think you put it quite right. It's tango, the jodi. The jodi, it has to work. one person is angry, the other person should play the cool effect so that it works. The problem, one of the problems that you'll see with vanilla is you don't get natural vanilla enough because of the cultivation and it's the weather conditions. So we found ways of making the natural, identical, or synthetic vanilla, which is 90% of today's market is natural identical or synthetic vanilla. But it is safe. It is considered as very safe, more acceptable. There is plenty of data to show it doesn't cause, because you use only like 0.5% to 1% of vanilla. You don't use a lot of it. And that's where it's all about the dose. You don't exceed. If you exceed also too much of it, thinking, it's cheap, I'll put it more, it has its own bitter effect. So I have some vanilla here. Let me show you. So I don't know if you can see. It's like a white powder. I use it. I tasted it just before this call, and it doesn't taste anything. But it's a great starting point. Just like salt. When you cook, you need salt. Same thing. If you're a formulator, keep vanilla as your first salt to start. Hope that helps.
Yeah, that's pretty insightful that you treat it as a salt so that it becomes an essential ingredient. Besides the obvious flavor and sensory benefits, are people looking at any health benefits or any nutritional wellness benefits for vanilla?
Yeah, is the question is for me?
Yeah, then I'll go to
Okay,
the
sure,
other panel.
sure. Vanilla, natural vanilla has a calming effect. It is an antioxidant. It also reduces stress and anxiety. But the effect of that is it lasts like only 1 hour or 2 hours. And it is also something that makes people happy. When they hear the word vanilla, like I said, sensory is not just the sensory, it's everything. When you say vanilla, when you're really like somebody, you might call her, you're like my vanilla cake. So, it's there already. So whenever you say vanilla, you say, it's calmness, stress reduction. It has got antioxidant properties, and it has got other benefits which, unless you take it in a high dose, it doesn't give. So I'm not going to claim anything other than this, because the dosage that practically we can use is very small.
Okay, but even for the calming effect, small doses are enough, or you need a
Yeah,
bigger?
you will get, because the dosage you use, you will feel a little bit of calmness. But like I said, it's not going to last, too long. Maybe you feel like half an hour to 1 hour, and
Right,
after that,
right.
you'll subside.
Yeah, okay. You feel happy after eating ice cream, and half an hour later you feel guilty. So, right. Let me go to Dr. Gopi. Would you like to add anything to the vanilla story before we move on to Fenugreek, and then we can talk about the tango?
Yeah. Thank you for this wonderful session, which is, as Dr. Yashwant Kumar said, it's very much need of the hour to come together as a single platform. And to add much, I think he has already given much ideas about the vanilla story. So, as you rightly asked, vanilla is not just a flavor; it is also having this neuro-calming effect. You can see that whenever you consume an ice cream, you feel little relaxed. So even though the dose is not sufficient enough to claim any health benefit, you still feel the effect. So even though we have a lot of crazy flavors, vanilla is the number one flavor which every consumers are looking for, not only for the food sector, in fact in the nutrition and nutraceutical sector as well. So I'm coming from a mainly on food supplement background. Now the consumers are also shifting. Earlier, whenever we say about food supplement, it's just capsules and tablets and such that. But now people need experience. So they need a sensory experience as well. So that's why there is a lot of shift towards healthy foods and food for special dietary purposes and stuff like that. This shift has started in Western countries long back, but now in India as well we are having this paradigm shift. But at that time, we have this challenge of palatability. So it's not just a bioefficacy, because as Dr. Yashwant Kumar correctly mentioned, in order to be effective, you need to consume for a certain period of time, and people get frustrated very easily if it is not palatable. So for which we need the help of the flavors and the flavorist and the food technologist, wherein vanilla play a very important role. So I still remember whenever we formulate some unique product using some unique flavor, people don't want to take that uniqueness in, at least in the palatability issue. They always end up by saying a certain deviation of vanilla. That's because of the unique capability of vanilla, because of the soft nature. It's not very strong flavor profile. It has a very soft flavor profile, and might be that is the reason why vanilla is extensively used for flavor masking applications. So before going into the fenugreek, which is actually we call it as a bioactive beast, because it's a very strong saponins inside. But how can we consume that? Even if you are enclosing it in a capsule, the blurping, that's a very big aftertaste of fenugreek. And it's not just bitterness, it's a kind of an earthy bitterness, which is very, very disturbing to most of our consumers. So consumers are not technical enough, so they always look for this palatability and sensory profile. So whenever they see that, as he correctly mentioned, the 5 elements of sensation, we correlate this appearance itself as a earthy bitter sensation. So whenever somebody sees that, they don't want to take it up, because they know that this is a very nasty flavor. So we'll come to that later. How do we the strategies on how to mask that? But this is my experience with vanilla.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to that, obviously. Dr. Anthony, any thoughts, especially with regard to, I mean, do you see vanilla usage going up, and is the natural vanilla and synthetic vanilla, which is 90% of the market now, as Dr. Yashwant said, are they kind of identical in terms of their functionality and other things, or are there any issues there?
Okay, sir. So thank you for the question. I will answer that later. Firstly, let me thank the Nutrify for this opportunity, and sir, to you to introduce me. So my presentation is going to be, I will do both together because I'm the last panelist. So the fenugreek also I will present, then it can take it to others. So, when this particular subject, the invite came to me, so really I was a little surprised because of late I'm reading a lot of market insights, and these appear quite frequently, okay, for functional applications. So the right time they have picked it up. And the combination I've not seen much, but when I see this, when I start reading about it, then I see there's a reason why they have brought it up now. So both are quite familiar. That first reason I found was quite familiar, not only in our culture, but it is Western culture also. These two are quite well known today, and they very well align with the growing and emerging trends in terms of health and wellness area in the food industry widely. But both the panelists already presented, there are quite a bit of challenges. I'll come to that a little later. Then both have very well established, active compounds in them. Vanillin is one. When you ask me that it is synthetic or natural, I would strongly go for only the natural. Vanillin is just an isolated ingredient. It can be made synthetically, but for a functional, it doesn't go that way because it comes along with a lot of other polyphenols. So everything has to come together for the effect, whatever Dr. Sriraj or Dr. Yashwant just explained. So it has to be actually the natural is my take. But when we come to the fenugreek, of course, very clear evidence emerges, and even they've isolated this compound called 4-hydroxyisoleucine, which is maybe the one of the saponin which other panelists mentioned. A lot of evidences in peer-published, peer-reviewed publications you can find in their function. Even for fenugreek, what we can see is clinical evidences. Even one of the strongest study what you can see is from the United States, especially Louisiana State University, where a clinical study has gone for nearly from 2007, and the last report came in 2015. And this is a public domain information, one can always download and see. 100% it has been proven to have glucose reduction properties and maintaining the insulin levels in the system same. So that's a very exciting finding, and many companies are now trying to use this as a claim for making food products. And vanilla, as they mentioned, aromatherapy, it is quite widely used, and a lot of commercial success you can see in the literature and also in the trade. And neuroprotective effects are being published now, antioxidant, which was already mentioned. And there's a strong evidence is emerging for vanilla as for wound healing. There's a wound healing is another thing which was surprised when I dig deeper. Yeah, that is true. There is a scientific evidence for that. There are challenges as we see both have to come in. Any food, I'm a food background person, so I face problems. First is taste. Health and taste going together is a challenge. My bosses always ask the R&D, where is it? So no, isme thoda ye hai, wo hai. They always say there's a taste issue, but functionally you have clear evidence you show, but then they still ask this question, taste is not matching. So both have some problem, because as other panelists mentioned, how much of vanilla you can add. It's a flavoring compound. So you can add it as a emotive level and make a claim, my product contains this, and this is known to have this effect, something like that. But awareness is growing. They want a very strong claim on your label, right? So vanilla may pose this problem. Fenugreek, of course, the bitterness. And on taste point of view, there are several solutions, like Dr. Ishwant was mentioning, like liposomes, and there are so many solutions one can easily bring in. Then next is the process challenges. In the food, we have to process it. So when we process it, these two may be very sensitive ingredients, so you may damage them. The activity may go down. So that is one challenge. Then, of course, the major hurdle will be the regulatory challenges. You add it, but if you don't make a claim, no consumer is going to pay any extra dollar for you for that product, right? So you have to make a claim. So when it comes to approval status, I can see maybe FSSAI as a functional use, it is okay, but no product claims possible. FDA doesn't approve, GRAS approved, and you can also find it 21 CFR, but not as a health claims yet. And EFSA also no health claims yet on this. So this is other challenge. The last one is the cost. Vanilla is a very expensive ingredient. How do we bring it in a feasible manner for a consumer to pay and get the benefit? That is one challenge. And the fenugreek, of course, if you have to make it as an isolate, it will be also adding cost. So these are some of the points I have prepared, sir. If any questions, then we can answer that later.
Thank you. I think we'll take the regulatory issue a little later also, because that's an important aspect. May not have, it's important enough for us to cover in a separate webinar, because regulations have to keep up with the innovation that's happening. In terms of fenugreek, as either you or Dr. Siraj can answer, is is this interest currently that is happening sudden, or has it been there for a while? And also, if you can detail the kind of some challenges you have said, you already told us about, but especially in terms of levels that you use in a product for it to be effective, and duration. Of course, we talked about consumers may not use it for long enough time. So what are those things, and what significance do they have? Is the fenugreek coming into focus more recently, or has there always been a focus on that?
Thank you, Dr. Balkumar. So in fact, fenugreek is there in the industry for a very long time now. The issue is that now there is a shift, at least in my experience case, people are more and more moving towards experience. So earlier case, they were all consuming, at least majority of them consuming capsules, but now is going towards, they wanted to try in gummies. As you must have seen, several gummies coming up with ashwagandha in it. So I'm not completely pointing only on fenugreek, but there are compounds like ashwagandha, bacosides, fenugreek, and things of that nature, which are actually coming out of traditional Ayurveda system of medicine, to certain extent. But as you know, our system, whatever is healthy is not palatable. So it could be earthy, it could be very bitter. In fact, bacoside for that nature is highly bitter in its taste. So these are things which have been used for years, and now people want an experience. They wanted to use in the food matrices as well, like the syrup on liquid form, water dispersible powder, effervescence tablets, and things of that nature. And whatever it may be, it is going through our tongue, and it has a after effect. So earlier, when it was a capsule, we could only get it in when there is a burping, I mean, strong aftertaste. But now, right from the consumption till maybe at least for a couple of hours from after the consumption, till that time we get that aftertaste. So this trend has started quite recently, but these things were there for a very long time. In fact, our Ayurveda system, if you are dating to many years, but it's not a medicine. Like, we tend to consume food supplements or nutraceutical for many years. So it's a continued process. So that is a main difference. If you ask me, in the Ayurveda also, it's very nasty off note, but people are consuming for maximum 14 days or 28 days, and once they get better, they don't consume it anymore. But this particular scenario, what we are discussing, is a real challenge, because that has to consume for many years, and it is a food additive and food supplement or a dietary supplement. In that case, Dr. Anthony already mentioned about the peer review status of fenugreek, which has a strong scientific background. And similarly for vithanolide, similarly for bacosides, these things have a proven record of efficacy, which when we convert into a supplement regime, it needs a masking also. Otherwise, people may not pursue for a very long time, and that's my point.
Okay, let me thank you. I think when we have a nice discussion like this, we don't know where time flies. It's already 4:40, and we have to cover a couple of important things. What I'll now jump to is actually putting the two ingredients together, and Dr. Gopi, take off from where you talked about. If you can briefly mention what are key strategies that can be used. First of all, again, the levels you're saying are high enough that you have a problem. Secondly, what are the kinds of techniques that could be used? And one question I have for Dr. Anthony and Dr. Yashwant afterwards. But if you could just give us insights into what is happening now in the scientific domain, where both masking as well as delivery can be facilitated through cutting edge technologies.
The industry is moving more towards technology aspects. So there are encapsulation technologies, there are masking technologies. As far as me concerned, we are doing a liposomal encapsulation technology where it is working to a certain level of masking, especially when we are talking about very off-note ingredients like vithanolides, bacosides, and saponins, especially from fenugreek. So we could cover up to a certain level of expertise, because once you encapsulate, you are actually masking completely the structure of these molecules, so that the receptor responsible for taste recognition will not recognize this. So you can basically hide from all these receptors, and that one strategy that we are continuously following. And in fact, some of the cases, vanilla for that sake, especially the natural vanilla, is used as a flavor masking, as you are very well aware. So apart from that, when we incorporate a certain level of synergy of vanilla or some kind of flavor masking molecules, along with technologies like the lipid encapsulation and liposomal encapsulation or something of that nature, we could do at certain level of accuracy to mask this molecule.
Okay. Coming to the natural vanilla, Dr. Anthony, you mentioned that you'd much rather prefer natural vanilla than vanillin. Is there, I mean, besides the fact that it is natural, of course, are there any specific benefits you see, or are we missing something by just extracting one aspect of vanilla? You and then Dr. Yashwant can add on.
Yeah. So in case of vanilla, isolation of vanillin is not going to make much benefit health point of view, even though it has some evidences. But the holistic approach of that has to come in, because the vanilla is not a something which is from a, it's not a just an agriculture produce, just plug it in and use it or dry use it. No, it goes through some fermentation process. So in the fermentation process, it's a very fine process where a lot of inherent changes happens. So a lot of biomolecules changes, a lot of biochemical pathways place in that. So all have to come together. So when you get that, then you make an extract of that. That is where most of these benefits have been studied. But I don't see any isolated, vanillin isolated and then getting used. Then simple synthetic should also work in that case. So the holistic approach is the best case, and the natural is the best case to go for health benefits. If you ask me for any challenges or anything like that, then as Dr. Gopi just mentioned, all that is what is being mentioned for this also, for making food formulations. Yes.
Dr. Yashwant, would you like to add?
Yeah, thank you. Can I add a few points which are a bit out of the box, so that I was thinking actually very fantastic points from Dr. Siraj and Anthony, and I was listening to the challenges, and perhaps I'm throwing a few things for the food for thought for people to take away from today. Quite rightly, Dr. Bal Kumar said that it is not just about vanilla or tango. We're just using that as a foundation. But think about how many products you need to formulate. How do you make it palatable? How do you make it sustainable? One of the things I've learned, Dr. Anthony and we both are ex-Nestle. So in Nestle we say make large quantities, make cheaper. So we make money. I actually met the ex-Nestle CEO recently, ex-Nestle CEO at ISB, and we both had a chat. And after that, coming out of that meeting, what I've learned is you don't make big batches, make it small, make it fresh. I think that's very important, because whatever flavor masking you do, don't forget over the shelf life, they change. The vanilla flavor changes something. Your bitterness can go up or down. Let me give you solutions also. I'm from Bangalore. So, Kannadigas, we love bisi bele bath. I have no idea how on earth we made some 125 items into one pot and called it bisi bele bath. Yeah. But the magic is here. We can mask Karela. Can you believe that? Our food, our grandmother knows how to mask Karela. So don't forget the culinary magic of India and Ayurveda. Next time when you go to a hotel, ask the guy why you are putting cinnamon in biryani. You'll get to know actually what works. Tango, there is a lot of tango actually. Pay attention to the culinary magic of India. I don't think any country in the world has got the kind of culinary knowledge that we have. I mean, I've traveled all over the world and worked everywhere, but the kind of knowledge we have to mask anything. If you look at most of our food, half of them are actually bitter. That's a terrible taste. But our grandmothers and festivals, we have Ugadi in South India. They give all these bitter combinations. So it is there in the culture to bring the bitterness in our life and how to formulate it. So I think we don't have to really look for some extraordinary knowledge. I think there is a lot in India. If you just know why you add cinnamon in biryani or any palav, you will be surprised with the magic of the science that India holds. So I think that's, beyond vanilla also, look for other things. Things like you can bring some nice fats into it to make it more creamy. You don't need to push everything towards vanilla. You keep vanilla maybe small quantity, to address the price point. So vanilla is the second most expensive spice in the world after saffron. So it's very expensive and the availability is terrible. It's all over the place. So it's a bit of a challenge if you're looking for a manufacturing continuous for a long time. And you will have a lot of disruptions and the fluctuations, and production guys will hate you if you decrease the raw materials. So that's a challenge. But I would like everybody who's attending today to go back to your own culture. You are a Bengali or a Gujarati or from Kashmir. We all have a lot of bitter, really terrible ingredients in our food. Ask your mom, grandmother, how did you master that? Can you tell me the magic? We will be very innovative actually. That's what I do go to a restaurant. I ask the busy bada guys, how do you make this 125 dishes into one and call it busy bada? The magic actually is here. I think one of the things that I'm also looking at Benefic is create a role called innovation chef, who can take herbal ingredients, bring the culinary knowledge, and create recipes. It was there in PepsiCo. We used to do that in Nestle, PepsiCo, but in nutraceutical industry there is none. Trying to bring that, I think the gap between nutraceuticals and functional foods and food, just a matter of couple of years. You don't know what is food, what is not food. Amul is in protein. Tomorrow Amul could come in Shilajit milk.
Yes, thank you. That's Amit. I think it's something for us at Nutrify to take heed of and see where we can also, push the discussion in that direction. You're very right. I don't know if there is a very comprehensive database of such interactions. And let me ask you also a further question. Is that, I mean, vanilla fenugreek is fine, but that also limits the product formats in which you can use that, because vanilla, you would assume that it could be used only in sweet formulations, not in savory. So I guess we need to also look at other aspects of it. One question to whoever would like to take it, and this refers to the actual health benefit, because one of the things that like you were saying, our grandparents or grandmothers, our mothers always say that when you complain that something is bitter, they say that means it's working. Yeah. So how do we still maintain that cue? That something is working, while at the same time responding to the consumer need for palatability. Any thoughts on that?
So one difference I can see, me too, gone through my grandmother, that conflict now. See, our ancestors looked at cumulative effect. They never looked for quick fix. That never works for health.
Right.
Health is a cumulative thing. It's a way of life. Our ancestor taught us that. That's how this whole thing came as a cumulative. But today, consumer expectation is pop up a bill, cholesterol is zero, and that type of thing. That's the conflict. So if one has to do a good marketing and then marry these to bring it together and put it out, it can be a good success. So this one conflict I can see.
Yeah. In fact, you're right. It's the community or this longevity of using maybe diets or something. Maybe there is one little blessing in disguise with half of the country being diabetic. Is that maybe people will move to a more holistic diet with and there are opportunities for nutrition food companies to actually work in that direction. Anyway, that's for a different day. Any thoughts?
I have one example of our own formulation recently, which is very interesting. This probably one of the challenge that I had, that I took a decision with all my knowledge I had. I thought, it'll be a mess, but somehow, sometimes you have to shoot it in the air and see what happens. We have a product called Shilajit Energy Bar. We are the first one to make Shilajit Energy Bar. And Shilajit is very, very disgusting product. If you ever take Shilajit on its own with water, you'll almost puke. So we made this energy bar, and we used all kind of, dates and natural. Like I said, you don't need to always use vanilla. We masked actually with things like dates, almonds, cashews, millets. Every little ingredient we are asking, we could see that it's masking. Suddenly, we see there is hardly anything. It came to a point that this is going to be very interesting. We ask yourself, if it doesn't smell like Shilajit, if there is no tinge of Shilajit in it, people may think it may not work. So I just have kept that little smell, a little tinge, of Shilajit to show people it is strong, it works. So that, you got to leave a little trial behind it. Don't take it to and make it look like, strawberry milk. There's no strawberry in
Yeah.
it, by the way. But so you don't push it to that far. Even if it is fenugreek, leave a little bit of a tinge of either smell or a taste or something where they can feel. I could see that. I could see there is no smell. So at least it's going to work. I think at a psychological level, it will actually play a point. So if there is a little bit of a smell, don't worry, because this is my number one selling product now.
Okay.
They said it smelled Shilajit. I said that's why it's Shilajit Energy Bar.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's very correct. When turmeric-related products launch, they always keep the turmeric note. Otherwise, it is easy to remove the turmeric note.
Right.
But always turmeric latte smells turmeric.
One last point which I'll add, I think this might help. So one of the company came to me and said, we are buying Shilajit, let's say around 2,000 rupees per kilo. They said, we have a non-tasting Shilajit. I said, that's cool. It's a multinational company. I'll not name the company. One of the biggest names in the world. So they said, what is the price? They said 4 times more expensive. I said, wow, what is it? We use some new technology I never heard before, and that's why it is so expensive. We've done R&D and all. Me being a scientist, I asked them, can I see what's inside? What is you have done? Can you give me your, the COA, whatever it is? And we come to know that they mixed Shilajit with maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is, 200 rupees. Shilajit is 2,000 rupees. So you mix 80% of maltodextrin with Shilajit and call it as less bitter but more expensive. So please, don't, fall for that. Being a scientist, you should really go and ask what is the technology. Don't go by this, big terminologies. That's why, people like, Dr. Anthony and Siraj, Dr. Balakumar, all of us can help. If you ever need help, please do reach out to us. We'll be very happy to, support whenever we can for the benefit of everybody in the industry.
All right. Thank you. We have about 8 minutes left, so I'd like to have some questions from the audience. But before that, any, if you want to summarize any thoughts, all three of you, in 1 minute each. Dr. Anthony?
Yes, sir. So to summarize, of course, there are challenges to overcome, and there are many solutions for all of that, which because of time limitation, we can't discuss all that here. One of the things, as I said, regulatory, which has to be seen if someone was really coming to the market. So these are some of the points. Otherwise, these are really good candidates to go forward to make some commercial products, and clear evidence is already there. So, the challenges overcome, it's a success. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Gopi?
Yeah. So it's very clear from the entire discussions that more and more stress and research focus need to be there on how to make it more palatable by using traditional wisdom, modern science, and innovations, and not just focus on efficacy part. Yeah, that's equally important or very important matter, but there should be importance given on overcoming the challenges involved in palatability. That's very clear.
I think, from my end, I said it at the beginning, I'll repeat that. If it is not tasty enough to crave, it won't be taken long enough to work. I think that's the main takeaway, and a platform like this definitely adds a lot of value to how people can formulate. Also, don't forget always, I was a lab rat myself. I was labeled as a lab rat doing experiments, but now I've changed a lot. I've learned a few things, that I think all the formulators should do is just don't only look at, what is in the literature. Also look at what people are searching for. If you go to Amazon tells you, sell what people are looking for. Very, very important. If you want to select a flavor, go to Amazon and do some search and say how many keywords people are searching with that flavor. If you say glutathione, people are searching with orange flavor. They're not searching with vanilla flavor. If you tie up, glutathione with vanilla flavor, it's going to backfire. So I think you got to also know wonderful AI. One of the things, again, I totally forgot to mention, NutriGenie, I think, is a great tool. It's a blessing for this industry. I think we have underestimated what it can do. I really want Amit ji to speak more and coaches and tell us more. Please use tools like this because it will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars wasting time and money to just shooting in the air. If in my days, if there was a Nutri-Genie, I would have purchased. There was nothing. We were running around with pen and paper, like headless chickens in the factory. There are a lot of AI tools. If you feed them with the right prompt, it will give you a lot of formulations along with the intelligence, which is far more powerful than single individual intelligence. Because the artificial intelligence is 100 times more powerful. It knows 100 people, 1,000 lakhs of people. I think I would love to have maybe a next discussion where Amit ji and the Nutrify team can take this to the next level and say, guys, come to us. I'll tell you how to mask fenugreek with all these kind of flavors. Here is what a Nutri-Genie tool can do. I think something like that would take it to the whole new level and will help a lot of guys save money, time, and effort, and it will be more effective.
So what are we waiting for? Let's do that. And it's a nice, it can lead to a set of guidelines using Nutri-Genie or whatever for people to get some advice, on how to formulate, how to mask, etc. So the real tango, if I can then summarize, is not between masking one or enhancing the other. It's more about making sure overall the palatability is and functionality will play a balancing act so that we have both in there. So thank you very much, panelists. But before you go, we'll take a few questions from the audience. I don't know how many we have. There's one question from Dr. Mohammad Amir. Says, fenugreek is already commonly used in cooking. How does taking fenugreek in the form of tablets or supplements provide additional benefit compared to its regular use in food?
So there is always dose. Something called as a dose which you need to accumulate because you need to it's not always the raw material what's inside it. It's the saponins and the actual active ingredient which matters. So if you really want to take that to be a clinically effective, so see, consuming something as a food is great because it builds up immunity, etc. But if you want to speed up that recovery process where you look for nutraceuticals to fix some of the things which you're looking for, you need to take it at a certain dosage. So fenugreek, for example, you have to take 5 to 6 or 10 grams per day, which is a lot. And and then if you have to take an extract, you only have to take half a milligram to 1 gram, which is far more convenient. I think that's where the supplement comes. But I still say, please do take what you take in food. Nutraceutical, actually supplement means it's the same food but more concentrated or more specific version of a certain ingredient in the particular food. Do both, I would say. If you want to get the clinical benefit, there is no harm in taking fenugreek, but if you're eating it every day, that's also fantastic. But if you really think, you can take, you have a menu where, I don't know, you make fenugreek upma or something where you can take 5 to 10 grams. That also works beautifully.
With some vanilla in it. Okay, there's a question from the same gentleman. Can vanilla help reduce the bitterness of fenugreek enough to eliminate the need for added sugars or sweeteners? Who would like to take that? Dr. Anthony?
There are efforts have been made, but it's not only with the vanilla. The example I can see is that it's a combination of vanilla with little amount of cocoa in it, chocolate. The cocoa vanilla combination has been successful in reducing the bitterness of fenugreek, but not reducing the bitterness, masking it. That's all example what I can see is all only masking the bitterness, but not removing it, because the active compound in fenugreek itself is a very strong bitter compound. So you have to retain it, but you can only do masking. There are many technologies that have been listed, but ingredient point of view, vanilla along with cocoa powder is solve this problem.
Yeah. Thank you. Another question, which is a bit long, but basically the essence of the question is the relation between natural vanillin and co-alkaloid compounds and their impact on gut microbiota and the gut-brain axis. Do you see that as a big issue, or either positive or negative? Dr. Gopi, do you have any thoughts on that?
That's very scientific question. I think we need to also refer literature, but as of my understanding goes, definitely there could be a positive impact right from our salivation, right? So when you have a favorable node coming in, so there are a lot of enzymatic secretion as well, so which will positively impact gut microbiota, apart from the real one-to-one benefit on gut microbiota. But how much extent it is, we need to of course review specific cases.
Okay. And one last question is any side effects when we mix these two, fenugreek and vanilla? Any consideration there? Yashwant Kumarji?
There is absolutely no evidence that there are any specific side effects when you mix these two. The reason is, again, it comes to the dose. You're using at a very, very small percentage of, vanilla. I'll also add a little bit of depth to the previous question. Is it going to completely mask the bitterness of fenugreek? In my experience, probably not. But it will take you to 50%, 60%. Or then you remaining 40%, look at the ways you can do. You look at, our own ingredients. It could be millets, it could be some, cocoa butter, it could be milk solids or milk fat. Fat is actually one of the things which works beautifully to mask. Don't forget the fat. Some healthy fats are there. They work really well. And things like what we use in day-to-day life, it could be millets or a ragi crispies and things like that. They actually surprisingly mask. And dates mask plenty of it. And also don't forget ingredients like monk fruit, stevia, and these kind of natural sweeteners which can actually do a lot of masking. And flavor and vanilla, always use it as a salt. It does both. It does mask and also it enhances the flavor, like how salt does to the food. From the literature I have read, from my experience of 20 years in this industry, there are no specific side effects that we have seen of using vanilla or fenugreek. But obviously, if you're using it too much, anything of too much is not good. So as long as it's in moderation, we don't see any kind of, it's GRAS approved, and the certificates all over the world say it is very safe.
Okay. I think that's all the time we have. Two other questions. What I will do is I will ask. So finally, gentlemen, thank you so much. A wealth of knowledge in just in the last 40-45 minutes. I know this, and as we probe deeper the topic becomes more complex, and there are other things that have come out that we will explore. I liked Dr. Kumar's idea of saying how can we take these forward, and I think that will be a theme for every subject that we take up in the webinar. So I think let's come back and see what we can do to take it forward. Thank you very much once again for your time and effort in joining us today. And thanks all participants for being here. Thank you.